Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, we visit the Lake of Shadows. Let's get to it. Lake of Shadows is one of the options for the Nightfall this week. And in order to get the score, if you're going for the score, you're going to want to do a few things. You'll want to put on a singe based on what your strategy is for your fire team, whether it's using supers or power weapons or a combination of the two in order to take down the boss. Additionally, you will want to run match game, extinguish, and blackout, as well as have a power handicap based on the lowest level player on your fire team. So if you're all at 600, then you're going to put a power handicap of 60. If you are sitting at 540, then your power handicap will not be anything. So the score will be easier to get as you increase your power level. As your power level is lower, it will be more difficult to get the score. So as a result, it is based on power, and if your power is lower, it will be more difficult to get. So what you're going to want to do if you are a lower power level is to kill as many adds as you can as quickly as possible, get to the boss, check your score and your time, and kill as many adds as you can to get over the score minimum before you kill the boss. Kill the boss with a precision shot, and that only gives you about 5,000 points when you're at score multiplier of 2.95, which is if you are only using match game, extinguish, and blackout. Now, this Nightfall does have a good number of solar shields and arc shields. It does not have as many void shields, although you will see all three if you are using match game. So keep that in mind. Now, I recommend, if you're doing match game, to have each fire team member have a different element for their energy slot. Of course, that means that one member of your fire team will also have the energy weapon that is also the singe. That's okay. It is a decent backup. You may consider your lowest member to use the energy weapon with the singe. Now the problem, of course, is do all your fire team members have a high level element weapon in the energy slot that will fulfill that requirement? Talk it out amongst your players, see what you have available and what you can use, and then go from there. Maybe all your fire team members only have void energy weapons at a high level and nothing else. Perhaps they all have solar, etc. Or maybe one member has a high level void versus the other two, and the other two, one has a high arc and one has a high solar, and that would work out perfectly. Work it out however it works best. Now, do you have to do that? No, you could have a subclass which will use the third. So your power weapon could be one element, your energy weapon could be a second element, and then your subclass could be the third element. The problem with doing it that way is that if you all are using the same subclass element, If you're all using arc element and you run into arc shields, nobody has a super, and only one person has a grenade, and you only are able to take out 1 or 2 shields versus the 4 shields that are in front of you, it could be a problem. So keep that in mind as a possible disadvantage of using subclasses as your third element type, and try to vary it if you do. So if one person is using a void subclass, have someone else with at least one other type. So optimally, you have energy weapons of all 3 types, so that if you see a solar shield and you have a solar energy weapon, you know you're up to take that guy's shield down. Once the shield's down, anyone can do damage. Alright, now as you're going through, there are a couple areas where you can kind of skip ahead, and I don't recommend that you do that. I recommend that you take out as many of the enemies as you can as quickly as possible, so that you are able to get the maximum score for the Nightfall, because that's what you're looking for here. If you're running with Blackout, then you will want to be aware of where the enemies and your teammates are. You don't want to be in an area and get surrounded by enemies and have your teammates one area back. Depending on what area it is, it could cause a wipe if you go down. Now when you get to the bridge dam area, that is where you'll find the wanted enemy, as well as many snipers and taken shields. So you have shield blasts and you have snipers, plus you have other ads and the wanted enemy. Now you only have to take out that guy way at the end, that gold bar guy, but it'll be very difficult to get to him. Now a hunter with invisibility would be able to get at least close to that guy at the end. The problem, of course, is having everyone else on your team get to him. So, as I said before, I recommend taking out all the enemies as quickly as possible. The wanted enemy, if you're able to take him down, it will give you a nice boost to your score, but it is not necessary. So if you're going to for maximum score, you're going to want to try to take that guy out. If you don't, it's okay. Now, if enemies do take you out, it's not the end of the world as long as your team doesn't wipe. The important thing is to have at least one member of your team alive at all points. And if you're in a position to bring up your teammates, do so, because that will bring your overall DPS and damage up. So it'll be easier to get the score because you're doing more damage per second versus how much damage that one person can do on their own. So stay alive if possible, do damage as often as possible, but if you do go down or if you do have to take cover, etc., it's still okay because you should still be able to get the score depending on what your power level is and power handicap is. The biggest enemy on any Nightfall is the time, which is why I always say kill as many guys as quickly as possible, because that will give you the highest score. If you're getting to a part of the Nightfall, which is difficult, but you are getting close to that 15-minute marker. You need to step it up, because once you hit 15 minutes, then your score multiplier takes a hit and your score begins to decrease. So depending on what your multiplier is, it could go down to 0, or it could just be reduced once you hit 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, your score will continually decrease, and your multiplier will go down, which will make it more difficult to get a score to make up for that difference. So once you hit 15 minutes, if you're not at 100,000, you do still have a chance of getting it, depending on what that base multiplier is. Once your multiplier hits 0, then your score will only go down. So if you're sitting at a score multiplier of 0 and you're not close to getting to the boss, or you're at the boss but you all of a sudden lost your 100,000 points, you're not going to make it. You can still kill the boss, but you're not going to make that 100,000 point threshold to get the score. Well, good luck on the Nightfall. Hope you liked this video. Make sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Guardian down. Guardian down. Energy is spiking. This is it. Kill the guy in charge and his big scary flight.
The scouts I sent are the best in the militia, but even they were ultimately helpless against this. You Guardians are a blessing.
When we have a common goal, civilians and Guardians can stand side by side and accomplish anything.
I could listen to you two talk all day.